First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. Salutation to the hopeful elect. Salutation to all the icons preaching this truth and sincerity, presenting their bodies as living sacrifice. Shalom to the few sisters listening and learning in silence. Homage Yat from Children of the Light, coming at you with another one. So was going over Daniel chapter 9 with the camp last week, and thought I'd do a quick lesson on Daniel 9 and 12. Well, starting at 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. Right? And what curse is that? The curses that's in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, starting at verse 15. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God. That's right, because Moses bare all heaven and earth to witness against us that day that these curses shall befall us if we did not hearken to the Lord and his commandments. That was in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, right? Because we have sinned against him. That's right. And sin is the transgression of the law, according to the scriptures in John. I'll get that scripture at another time. Right? And he have confirmed his words. Who is he? Right? The Most High God, the Father Yahweh. He have confirmed his words. Right? And confirmed, right? He have made sure. Right? He delivered, right, on the promise of his words, that those curses be poured out on us because we departed from him, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done so, and have not been done upon Jerusalem. That's right. And so when you jump to Deuteronomy, right, and you can go and read, all of them yourself, but starting at verse 15. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken, and this is Moses talking to the children of Israel after they left Egypt. But it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And that's what's being referred to, right, when it says, therefore the curses is poured upon us, right? Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law. Sin is the transgression of the law, so they sin against the Most High, even by departing from the law, that they might not obey the voice of God, right, and the curses. And he have confirmed his words. Let's just look at what confirmed mean right here, since we here. Confirm. Okay, right. To feel, to ratify, establish, impose. That's right. So all of those curses were imposed on us, right? So the prophecy was fulfilled. The curse was fulfilled, right? And those curses were imposed, right, and poured out over all Israel. Okay. Let's go back. Okay. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done so, have been done upon Jerusalem. That's right. So what was done to Jerusalem had not been done, right, to any other kingdom, any other group of people, right? And that's right. Again, spiritually, we know who these scriptures align with, in some of those curses that refer to Jake and what they went through over here in the Americas under Esau, right? And so now, if you want to expand this, right, some good precepts to expand exactly how the words were confirmed, right? You want to go to the Book of Lamentations. And I'm gonna jump around a little bit. So I want to start at Lamentation 2:17. The Lord have done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his words, right? Fulfilled, confirmed, as back in Daniel. His words that he had commanded in the days of old, the days of Moses. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. Right, and if you go back into the book of Deuteronomy, right, I'm gonna skip a little bit. Skips. Right, and it says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and faith will longing for them all day, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Right, and a lot of times when it's being broken down, of course, right, going into Judah, Levite, and Benjamin, the three tribes that were still in Jerusalem, right, and that was a part of that transatlantic slave trade, right. So a lot of that was applied to slavery, but also it can be applied to the Book of Lamentations, which was written by Jeremiah the prophet during the Babylonian captivity, right. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and they shall be only oppressed and crushed away. And these are some of the scriptures about the Lord delivering Israel into the hands of the enemies, right? Let's see. Okay, right. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. Right? And again, a lot of times when brothers breaking this one down as well specifically, right? They'll bring it back into the transatlantic slave trade because of and the yoke of iron upon their neck, which is correct, right? But also just highlighting how back in Lamentation, right? The Lord have done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his words that he commanded in days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemies to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn, the power of thine adversaries. Come on, right? And so, really, if you want to really expand on Daniel 9 and 12, right, is, really starting from Lamentation 1 and coming on down to 17, because Lamentation is really going to expand on what those curses look like to Israel. So this is Lamentation 2:1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not the footstool in the day of his anger. That's right, man, because when them curses got poured out on us, they got poured out heavy, right? And the Lord remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and have not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. That's right, going back into Daniel, right? 12, right? He hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us. And judges is, right, the leaders of our people. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. Let's go into that horn. Horn, strength, right? Right. So in this matter, the strength. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. That's right, because it was the right hand of the Lord, right, that went forth and fought our battles for us and protected us from the enemy, right? If you go back into 1 Samuel, right? And you could do this reading on your own. You go back into First Samuel when the elders asked Samuel for a king, right? It greatly offended the Lord because it was the Lord that fought all of the battles for Israel in the ancient days, right? The Lord was the king. He was their leader. They didn't need an army because it was the Lord that went forth to fight the battles from them, right? So if he drawn back his right hand from the enemy, he pretty much given the other nations the green light to come attack us and beat our ass, right? He gave the enemy the power and the strength to move against Israel. And he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoured round about. Right. So that's why the scriptures say he confirmed that which he his words. Right. So, a part of those curses was that our enemies would encamp us and they would grow strong around us. Right. That's why they was able to subdue us. And if you want to get into more of that, you can go to the book of Jude, chapter 5. This chapter 5, Jude 5 and 17. Start at 17, right? And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. That's right. So when we are moving in righteousness and we in alignment with the Most High, we are a prosperous people because God is with us. But when they depart from that which he appointed them, right? And what did he appoint us? The laws, the statutes, the commandments, right? Because transgression is the sin of the law. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, the way of righteous, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, right? And were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by enemies. Right, so that goes into the Lord removing his right hand, right, and green lighting Israel, right. See, when we are in order and we move with the righteousness and with the Lord, nobody can touch us, right. We're invincible because it's the Lord that protects us. But when we sin it and we departed from the ways, right, we weak, we powerless, and the other nations know this as well, right. But now they are returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them. That's right. And the other nations know. They know when we are sinning against our power, and we're not in alignment with Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, that's our ass, and he gonna let those other nations come in and ruin us. But also, if you want to get another precept for this, is the book of Judges, chapter 2, right? No, what I did to AUD to Judges. Chapter 2 to the bottom. Okay. This is Judges 2 and 20, right? And you see, and the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. The anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel. And he said, because this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations with Joshua left when he died. Right? Because going Deuteronomy, I believe, the 4th chapter, right? The Lord gave us a list of people to utterly destroy. Let me just make sure I got that real quick. Or was it 7? It's 7. Okay, right. And you can go and read this on your own, right? 7, right? But these are the nations that the Lord told us to utterly destroy in the land of Canaan, right? And we didn't do that, right? We went off again in ancient world, right? Because, right, back 2 and 21, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations when Joshua left, when he died, that through them I may prove Israel. Right? Just and again, just showing you, right? That through them, through the other nations, I may prove Israel. Let's look up prove. Because I want to say prove means make worthy, but let's look it up. Okay. To test, try, prove, attempt. To test, assess, right? To test, to prove, right? To prove, right? Right? That through them, right, I may test Israel, test and make if they worthy, whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did keep it or not. Right? Therefore, the Lord left those nations without driving them out, neither delivered him them into the hands of Joshua. That's right. You know, the Lord said he's gonna make those other nations a thorn in our side. So let's get back. Right. See, he have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. So he gave the enemy the commission. He gave them the thumbs up and empowered them, right, to spoil Israel. And he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which he devoured round about. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. That's right, man. Right, because this is Jeremiah describing the state of Jake, man. Right, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi in Jerusalem. Right, during the Babylonian captivity. And they came in and they utterly destroyed the people, right? Because the Lord was against Israel, right? It say he bent his bow. What's a bow? A weapon, right? He bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye. The Lord was an enemy. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her places. He have destroyed his strongholds and have increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. He have violently taken away his tabernacle as if it were of a garden. He have destroyed his places of assembly, the temple. The Lord have caused the solemn feasts and Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion, and have despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. Right? So nobody was right, because the Lord is no respecter person. So you don't get any special treatment because you a king or because you a priest, right? When the Lord punish, He gonna punish everybody, and that's why Daniel says He have confirmed His words which He spake against us and against our judges that judged us. So a king would be a judge, a priest is a judge, right? A leader. By bringing upon us a great evil, and lamentation goes into all of the evils, which is the curses that he poured out on us from departing in our ways. The Lord hath cast off his altar. He hath abhorred his sanctuary. He hath given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of a solemn feast. The Lord have purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He hath stretched out a line, he hath not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he made the rampart and the wall to lament, they languish together. Her gates are sunk into the ground, he hath destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. And that's a lesson for another day, because they be like, oh, who are the Gentiles? Well, the Gentiles are Israelites who didn't know they were Israelites. But that's a lesson for another day, right? Because you have her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law was no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord. That's right, man. Because I believe it's in Hosea. Yeah, that's right, man. The Lord will hide his face. You get what I'm saying? leave you to your iniquities, man, and leave you to your punishment, right? So, just based off, when you read in Daniel 9, right, and you're going from Daniel 9 and 12 to 14, straight on down, right, 15, right, the book of Lamentations um, opens up and it expands on um, the evils that was brought upon Jake for sinning against the Most High, and it's because the Most High poured out His indignation upon them for their transgressions. Right? He empowered those other nations to come in. So I'm gonna skip a little bit. Okay. And when you read it, you have to use your imagination as into what Jeremiah is seeing. That's why it's called the Book of Lamentations, right? What things shall I take to witness for thee? Question mark. What things shall I liken to thee? Right. So the state that Jerusalem was in, Jeremiah is saying, what can I compare this destruction and all this evil to? O daughter of Jerusalem, what shall I equal to you, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great like the sea, who can heal thee, right? And breach, think of it like wound, right? The wound is so so great. Who can heal thee except for the Lord? Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away their captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and cause of banishment. That's right. The prophets have not discovered what Jake need to do to turn away the captivity, right? But have seen for thee false burdens and cause of banishment. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem, these other nations, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. That's right, man. And that goes back into the curses. What Moses said, what happened to the people, right? The Lord confirmed His words, because the Lord's words will not go out vain. If He's spoken it, then it's already going to happen. It's permanent. The Lord have done that which He had devised, and this go right into Daniel 12, which I'm reading again, right? So that's just a little quick lesson on Daniel 9 and 12. You can really take that down to 15 when you read that, go into Lamentation and break it down. But I do want to get let me get 14 in the LT. See what that say. Right, your prophets have said many foolish things, false to the core. They did not save you from exile by pointing out your sins. Instead, they painted false pictures, filling you with false hope. Yeah, man, kind of. Because they probably went making offerings to the other gods, furthering their iniquity and their sin against the Most High. So just a quick lesson, I hope you were edified. Until the next time, Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah.